People's comedy is about platforming the type of comedy that makes you think, that makes you question, makes you reflect, and actually perhaps even improve as a person.
This is my first People's Comedy. I'm very excited. I've always thought of it as a place where you can do political comedy, where they are into really supporting local comedians and where they pay their comedians, which is not easy to do and shows real commitment. So yeah, so I'm excited to be here for that reason.
I've been thinking about Brexit quite a lot actually in the run-up to the election and kind of how we got here and how shit everything's been. And I don't know why in all this time we didn't just Bristol Brexit. Why didn't we just Brexit? We've got our own seaport, we've got our own airport, right? Can you feel what I'm trying to create here? We could set up a trade deal with the rest of the UK. We import food and fuel and we export a sort of service economy of gong baths.
There's an imbalance when it comes to representation. If we look at gender or sex, for example, for every 5 male comedians, there's 1 female comedian in the UK circuit. So at the People's Comedy, we look at that, but we look at other protected characteristics and marginalised minority groups.
April was Autism Awareness Month, and lots of autistic people have been trying to change the name of that from Autism Awareness Month to Autism Acceptance Month. Because much like zombies, autistic people don't need awareness so much as they need acceptance. I, for example, am autistic, and I especially do not need awareness. I'm 6'4", 19 stone, and I have this voice that once had me described as a young Brian Blessed. Sort of observational, but it's observational from my own perspective as like an autistic man. So a lot of it comes from a slightly different perspective than I think most people have, so I don't know if most people see it as observational, but it is to me.
For me as a trans person, I think comedy is a really great way to show people the inside of your brain sometimes. I get to have the microphone and talk, hopefully uninterrupted, for maybe 5, 10, 20 minutes. And for some people, that might be the longest they've ever heard a trans person speak.
I'll get one thing out of the way, I am a trans man. That's what's happening. Which I just have to make that the first thing I say, because if I don't, people think I don't know. And I love one chap at the back just being like, I was like, yeah, I know, mate. I know, this is my life.
Every single comedian that we've ever platformed since 2018 has been paid. They've been paid via our equal pay structure. So there's no headliners, there's no middles, there's no openers. Everybody's voice is recognised equally. We started the People's Comedy for 2 reasons really. One was to platform those alternative, original voices, non-commercial, non-formulaic voices in comedy. And the other pillar was really to create a platform where comedians could be paid for what they're doing. Where comedy is not currently recognised as an art form, there is a trend and a tendency for them not to be paid, not to be recognised as artists, but they absolutely are artists.
I think even being paid a small amount for comedy nights, you get a different sense of the value of your kind of role in the evening.
I usually come on stage with a glass of red wine in my hand. But if I can be candid with you, I could do with a break, both financially and liverly. So I'm going to need you guys to be a little bit professional. And imagine I've got a glass of wine in my hand. And I'm going to green screen it in later.
It's Bristol, it's a great scene. I've heard some really lovely things about the scene of Bristol. And yeah, it's for the people. And I know Bristol's a super left place, so I didn't have to worry about the vibe.
It's feeling as if you can empathise with that comedian as opposed to this comedian is on a higher pedestal than I am and they're superior to me.
The Bristol comedy community is lovely, so lovely. It's often hard to sort of curate your own audience and get a sort of audience that continuously come back, but they're also the type of audience that you always want to be there. which I think is lovely about People's Comedy, especially in the People's Republic of Stoke Scrubbin, when they hold it there, they sell out almost every time, and that's loads of people. That's like 100 people they're selling out to each time who want to come specifically because of the night and because of the sort of values it has and the values Henry has.
Everyone loves a man that's a triple threat, don't they? Everyone goes feral for a man that's a triple threat. And I personally believe that that's just because when a man is not a triple threat, he is just a threat. He's a threat.
Bristol's such a good place to do it. There's so many nights happening, but also so many different kinds of nights happening with different kinds of audiences. And although Bristol audiences genuinely are so good, like they tend to be really patient, really up for it, really interested in hearing something a bit left field, especially here as well. Like it's just, it just feels like a really amazing place to be and a really amazing time to be here.
The future for the People's Comedy is to expand as much as we can, to spread and help promulgate the message that stand-up comedians are artists that deserve to be paid, having our own buildings in the future, and actually changing the way in which comedy is perceived and understood, at least stand-up comedy in the UK.